Debt is one of the most powerful forces in personal finance. For some, it is a heavy chain that creates stress, limits freedom, and destroys wealth. For others, it is a lever that builds businesses, creates opportunities, and accelerates growth. The truth is that debt itself is not automatically good or bad. What matters is how you use it, why you use it, and whether it produces income or drains your resources. That is where the difference between good debt and bad debt becomes clear. This video will walk through what makes debt good, what makes debt bad, and how to recognize the difference in your own financial life. By the end, you will not only understand the distinction, but also know how to use debt as a smart tool without letting it control you. The first thing to understand is that all debt is borrowed money that must be repaid, usually with interest. Lenders give you access to funds upfront in exchange for repayment later. The key question, does this debt create value or does it destroy value? Good debt is debt that helps you build wealth, increase income, or improve your long-term financial situation. Bad debt is debt that costs more than it gives back, often used for consumption rather than creation. Let us begin with good debt. Good debt is generally tied to an investment that has the potential to grow in value or generate income. A classic example is a mortgage on a home. When you borrow money to buy a property, you are financing an asset that may appreciate over time. While you pay interest, you also build equity, which is ownership value in the home. If the property increases in value and provides stability for your family, that mortgage is considered good debt. Another strong example of good debt is student loans when used wisely. Education can increase your earning potential significantly. If you borrow money to gain skills or a degree that leads to higher income, the return on investment can outweigh the cost. For instance, if a degree allows you to earn $20,000 more per year and the loans cost you $10,000 in annual payments, the net gain is positive. That is good debt in action. Of course, this only works when the education is aligned with realistic job opportunities and managed carefully. Business loans can also fall into the category of good debt. Borrowing money to start or expand a business can be a smart move if the debt helps you generate more income than the loan costs. Entrepreneurs often rely on business credit to hire employees, buy equipment, or market products. When those investments create sustainable profits, the debt was worth it. Many of the world's most successful companies were built with borrowed money. Good debt is also often connected to real estate investing. For example, borrowing money to purchase a rental property that produces more rental income than the mortgage payment is considered smart. The tenants effectively pay down your loan while you build equity and enjoy potential appreciation. This is why many wealthy families build fortunes through real estate leverage. Now let us turn to bad debt. Bad debt is money borrowed for things that do not increase in value and do not produce income. A classic example is credit card debt used for consumer purchases. If you borrow at 20% interest to buy clothes, gadgets, or vacations, the items lose value quickly, but the debt lingers and grows. This type of debt takes money out of your pocket without giving anything back. Payday loans are another extreme form of bad debt. They charge massive interest rates, sometimes above 300% annually, trapping people in cycles that are nearly impossible to escape. Borrowing in this way drains financial health rather than building it. Car loans can also be bad debt if not managed carefully. While transportation is necessary, cars lose value the moment you drive them off the lot. Borrowing large amounts for luxury vehicles with high monthly payments is a recipe for financial stress. Unless the vehicle is directly tied to income production, such as a work truck for a contractor or a delivery vehicle for a business, car debt usually belongs in the bad category. Here's an engaging example. Imagine two people. One borrows $200,000 for a house that grows in value, eventually selling it for $300,000. The other borrows $20,000 for a car that is worth $10,000 after 5 years. Both used debt, but one created wealth while the other lost it. That is the difference between good and bad debt. Credit card debt used irresponsibly is one of the most dangerous bad debts. The combination of high interest rates, easy access, and minimum payments traps millions of people. Even a few $1,000s can balloon into tens of thousands if left unpaid. Using credit cards wisely for small purchases you pay off monthly can build credit. Using them as extra income for lifestyle inflation leads to financial disaster. Now let us explore some gray areas. Not all debt fits neatly into good or bad categories. For example, education debt can be good if it increases income, but bad if borrowed for degrees that do not lead to career opportunities. Car loans can be bad when used for luxury, but neutral or even good if the car is essential for work and the loan is modest. Even mortgages can turn bad if you borrow more than you can afford or if the property value declines significantly. This is why the smartest question to ask before borrowing is, will this debt put money into my pocket in the long run, or will it take money out? If it adds to your net worth, it leans toward good debt. If it drains your net worth, it leans toward bad debt. Another important factor is interest rate. Even good debt can become harmful if interest is too high. For example, a student loan at 4% may be manageable, but the same loan at 12% could cripple your finances. Similarly, a mortgage with a low fixed rate is often beneficial, while one with a high adjustable rate can create risk. The cost of borrowing matters as much as the purpose. Time horizon is another factor. Good debt often makes sense over a long period. Mortgages stretch over decades while properties appreciate. Education pays off over an entire career. Bad debt is often short-sighted, satisfying immediate wants while creating long-term pain. Recognizing this difference helps you stay disciplined. Here's another engaging thought. Imagine debt as a tool. A hammer can build a house or break a window. The hammer itself is not good or bad. It depends on how you use it. Debt works the same way. Managed with strategy, it builds wealth. Misused, it tears wealth apart. Now let us talk about strategies for using good debt wisely. First, borrow only what you can afford to repay. Just because a bank approves you for a large mortgage does not mean you should take it. Stay within safe limits that leave room in your budget for savings and emergencies. Second, choose fixed interest rates whenever possible. Fixed rates provide stability and protect you from sudden increases. Third, make extra payments when you can. Paying down debt early reduces interest cost and builds equity faster. For bad debt, the strategy is simple: avoid it whenever possible. If you already have bad debt, prioritize paying it off quickly. Use methods like the debt snowball, where you pay off the smallest balance first to build momentum, or the debt avalanche, where you pay off the highest interest rate first to save money. Whichever method keeps you motivated is the best. The faster you remove bad debt, the more freedom you regain. Another smart move is to create sinking funds for predictable expenses. For example, instead of using credit for holidays or car repairs, set aside a little each month in a savings account. That way, when the expense arrives, you pay cash rather than creating bad debt. This habit turns surprises into manageable events and protects your credit. Building credit is another side benefit of using good debt responsibly. On-time mortgage or student loan payments improve your credit score, which lowers borrowing costs in the future. A high credit score saves money on loans, insurance, and even rent. Bad debt, by contrast, often lowers your score, raising costs across your entire financial life. Here is another real-world scenario. Two friends both earn $50,000 per year. One uses debt to buy rental property, building equity and rental income. The other uses debt to finance vacations and gadgets, paying interest long after the items lose value. After 10 years, the first's assets worth hundreds of thousands, while the second struggles with credit card bills. Same income, different choices, different futures. It is also important to recognize the emotional side of debt. Good debt may create stress in the short term, but it builds confidence over time as you see progress and growth. Bad debt creates shame, anxiety, and helplessness because it feels like digging a hole deeper every month. Managing debt is not only about numbers, it is about mental health and peace of mind. Here is another engaging reminder. Freedom is not about avoiding all debt. It is about using debt wisely. A person who refuses all debt may miss opportunities, while a person who uses debt recklessly loses freedom. The smart path is balance. Now let us summarize clear differences. Good debt finances assets that grow or produce income. Bad debt finances liabilities that lose value quickly. Good debt often comes with lower interest rates and longer horizons. Bad debt often carries high interest rates and short-term gratification. Good debt strengthens your financial foundation. Bad debt weakens it. Debt is not your enemy or your friend. It is a tool. Good debt, like a well-placed investment, can build wealth and open doors. Bad debt, like uncontrolled spending, can trap you in cycles of stress. The difference is not always obvious, but by asking whether the debt adds value or drains it, you can decide wisely. Use debt strategically, repay it responsibly, and let it serve your goals rather than control your life. If you found this breakdown valuable and want more strategies for building wealth and managing money smartly, join us here at Level Up Wealth. Subscribe so you never miss clear, practical insights that can transform your financial journey. Remember, debt is powerful. The question is whether it will build your future or break it. That choice is in your hands.